the one I've been most impressed with, as I said, was Dark Gallifrey, right? Because again, that last part was excellent. Here, have you listened to any of them?
No, I haven't listened to any. Big Finish again for a few months now, 2 or 3 months.
Again, that's why I'm really glad that the season's over, right? So they were famous for having the absolute worst covers I've ever seen.
We've talked about these, yeah.
This is the best of them. I'm not going to show the worst, but it's okay. So here's the premise, which I thought was a really this is if it was sold as a box set, it would have worked better, right? So the premise was it was set after the Morbius uprising, right? After Morbius's uprising on Gallifrey, and they talk about it in the past, and so the first part where they're introducing that, talking about that. That's the more interesting story that I want to know about. Like Morbius is a big popularist, like he was. His basic whole revolution happened because he wasn't of the right gentry, so he wasn't given, he wasn't allowed to do something or other, right? And it was a big pop, and so he's essentially they're riffing on Nigel Farage, Donald Trump a little bit.
Oh God, not again!
But I'm saying, but not in a bad way, right? This is actually written quite well, right? I like the idea of a populist villain. Right, because and he's very, very sincere about his beliefs, which I think is very interesting. So the first part, anyway, you've got this whole interesting setup where they're on Karn, I think, and it's you have these Gallifreyan criminals that were sent to fight in the war, and they got this sailing galley that's a time ship, and none of it really makes sense, but it's all kind of cool. It's kind of like that bit in Dracula when he travels across the ocean. And everybody gets killed, right?
It's right that they continue to kind of lean into that gothic sensibility of Morbius, isn't it?
Right. So all that stuff was great. And in the background, you have Morbius coming back. He's been bandaged. He's coming back somehow. Second episode, I found them. It was somewhat treading water. This probably would have worked better as a 2-disc set rather than 3 discs. But it's more building up this interesting, but very similar to Enlightenment, right? Because it was all. They have the same ship as an early TARDIS. Everything's metaphorical and metaphysical. They got this thing in the galley, the rooms are shrinking because it's leaking time and interesting stuff like that. And so at the same time, you have a cult of Morbius coming back. You got a young sister of Karn advising, and you have an interesting interpersonal politics going on. So at the end of the second episode, they get this thing, the Rod of Rassilon, or something, to summon Rassilon, and instead they summon the Fourth Doctor. So I thought this would be some kind of facsimile, some kind of alternate Fourth Doctor. No, this is the same Fourth Doctor who fought Morbius in the past, right? So
yeah.
Sorry, you're going to ask me a question.
Yeah, I was going to ask if the actual, like you say, the actual Fourth Doctor from a point in his history after the brain of Morbius.
Exactly. That's exactly. And he's sent back via the Matrix somehow. He's not there as a physical entity. Most of the best parts of this episode is Samuel West and Tom Baker, just freaking awesome. Two. Absolute titans banging against each other. Tom Baker, he doesn't sound old, but he doesn't sound he sounds a bit more wheezy, right? He's definitely getting older, right? He's definitely getting older. Sorry, you're going to say?
Bless him, 90.
Listen, 1991. He still puts in a thoughtful performance. But this has a good ending, which for me tied it all together. Is it worth $35? I don't think so, but I don't think they could afford to make it for less. I think if the price point on this was $15.99 they would probably sell more, is my guess. But much more interesting, right? This is what perks up my interest. Is next month's one. Next month it's the War Master, which is Derek Jacobi, but they're bringing David Warner. This must be his final performance, right?
It has to be, yeah.
And so I'm really excited for this. So you got David Warner in the first one, and then somebody's in the second. You got what's his name, Captain John Hart, James Masters in the second one. And I like they got Lisa Bauman going all the way through it, and also obviously what's his name, Derek Jacobi. His War Master is brilliant, right? Absolutely brilliant. And then you got the War Doctor in the third part. You've got to go something to do a bad War Master story. Like Derek Jacobi, generally speaking, they're all great, right? They're all fantastic. This was one of the best ones, Master Rio, but they're too expensive. I can't recommend $38. They're stupid. They shouldn't be charging those prices. Look, I mean, once cells go dead, they need to like bring prices way. Although people just wait then and buy them when they're cheaper. Anyway, I think I got a trailer for one of these ones, which is this so much more interesting. Here it is for the next one. Let's have a look.
Gallifrey.
Dark Gallifrey. Good marketing. Stick dark in front of something, it instantly becomes classier. Dark chocolate, for example.
Name.
One of the more annoying things, though, is you still don't, after recently watching that first story, you still don't know what Dark Gallifrey is. Or Morbius was trying to open a portal to it, but it's not. They don't make it clear what it is. Sounds like some alternate reality Gallifrey.
Another example.
Well, Dark Gallifrey.
From Big Finish Productions, the worlds of Doctor Who, Dark Gallifrey, The War Master, Part 1.
Have you heard much of the David Warner Doctor Who?
None at all.
Oh, they're good. The Unbound ones are particularly good.
Oh yeah, I heard I've got the Unbounds, yeah, but none of the. I haven't listened to any of the Bernice Summerfield's own range ones or anything that they've done with the character since. Well, not a single thing.
If you like Bernice, if you like the Bernice Summerfield range, which I really did, I subscribed that straight away because I knew they were going to be. This was their trial for Doctor Who, so I've been with Benny right from the beginning, and I've liked the evolution of the character. She worked very, very well with David. Well, I mean, they were living together, but she worked very, very well with David Warner. And he plays it like a hungover Hartnell is how he describes it.
Maybe I should go right the way back because I think the first Bernice Summerfield has just been put on special offer because it's the anniversary or something.
It's totally worth it.
Maybe I should go back.
It's totally worth it. Yeah, so let's finish listening to this trailer.
This place does exist, doesn't it?
I rather think it does.
A Gallifrey.
A spare Gallifrey, drifting around in space.
Anyone could find it, or it could find anyone.
But I found it. My discovery. Oh, it'll make my name.
I knew someone would find me.
Okay, so the interesting thing is when you have these together, Bernie Summerfield's range had a different feel from the rest of Doctor Who. It was, it's what I thought that the Jodie era really should have been, and it wasn't. But like genuinely feminine science fiction, right? And it's got a feminine idea, and it really works when it leans into being what it is, right? Because she's a woman, so but it's not slightly more cerebral. It's feminine, like it's just feminine. What can I say? Disney would love it.
Clever enough to follow the clues that would remain. Imagine my delight when I realized it was you.
The Time Lords in every universe view time as a precious tapestry to be preserved and mended. Dark Gallifrey sees it as something to be unraveled and refashioned. It's more than just an alternative. Oh, maybe less.
Time.
Although this is a War Master release, we should really have heard some Derek Jacobi by now.
Time Lords love dark secrets. I'm one of their darkest. And they're not even responsible for me. But Time Lords. They like to deal in time and lies. In order to keep...
Hey, this trailer is turning me off the release. I'm still buying.
I was going to say, this woman's overacting quite badly, whoever this is.
Well, I know from somebody who works quite high up in Big Finish that they have a serious problem in that they just don't have enough black actors, right? They need to have black actors in everything all the time, but they're a minority. So there's less of them. I don't want to tell you. And so, we get actors, I think, of lower quality. That's why you had Sullivan and Cross going across a bunch of different ranges. I can't remember who played, what's her name, Cross. She just wasn't good enough. Bottom line, and I bought a couple releases with her to see if she got better. No, she just wasn't good enough, right? And it's because of this enforced diversity. And look, nobody minds seeing black people on screen, right? Nobody minds seeing
or hearing black people. No, not at all.
I mean, like literally, there's nobody has any problem. But like this like enforced diversity, it hurts.
I think if you pluck any random non-white person out of a bus queue and say, "Do you want to act in some audio drama?" Why? Yeah, I'm not an actor. It doesn't matter. You're black. It's what does that say? What,
yeah,
I'm not saying that's literally. I'm not saying that's what they've literally done. But yeah, I mean, quality. Obviously, the quality of people that one's going to employ based on that criteria is obviously going to fall.
When you reduce your hiring pool, the only option is lower quality, right? That's the only thing you can get.
That's much better way of putting it than I did.
But still, we got David Warner in it, so
Straight face. They keep me in the cellar.
What are you afraid of?
One day I'm frightened I'll arrive on Gallifrey and feel at home. It all feels disturbingly familiar, almost exactly as I remember.
We shouldn't have come. Sorry.
You wanted to.
His whole idea is he's an alternate dimension doctor. They do use the theme tune for that they didn't use in the third Doctor's time, the Delaware tune.
Oh, yeah.
It's just awful, right? It's genuinely awful.
Oh, I couldn't resist. Imagine what we'll find.
That's the problem, I can.
Big finish for the love of stories.
That trailer was not
Gallifrey.
No, it's terrible. Absolutely awful.
That really didn't do them any favors. Stupid them. Anyway, but I did enjoy that Dark Gallifrey series now because of the final episode of the first trilogy. Who's writing the War Master one? Let me have a look. It is. Because they do tend to have better writers than James Goss. Okay, so I think James Goss will probably be able to pull something out that's pretty good. So you got that going on. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.